Would you still spend a dime if you knew it might be worth hundreds of dollars? Certain Roosevelt dimes carry hidden value, and most people never notice them. Today, we reveal the ones you should never ignore. In 1976, a small, thin coin moved effortlessly through one of the most symbolic years in American history. The United States was celebrating its bicentennial, marking 200 years since independence. Red, white, and blue decorations filled streets, commemorative coins were being discussed everywhere, and national pride was woven into everyday life. Amid all this celebration, the Roosevelt dime continued its quiet duty, passed from hand to hand without ceremony. Yet hidden among millions of ordinary examples were rare minting errors that would later turn certain 1976 Roosevelt dimes into extraordinary collectibles, valued today between $68,690 and $150,300. By the mid-1970s, the Roosevelt dime was one of the most familiar coins in circulation. First introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his legacy with the March of Dimes, the design had become a permanent fixture of American commerce. Since 1965, the dime had been produced in a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than silver, a change driven by rising metal prices. In 1976, the Philadelphia Mint struck enormous quantities of dimes to meet everyday demand, even as special bicentennial designs were reserved for quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins. The standard 1976 Roosevelt dime has an official weight of 2.268 grams. This precise measurement is essential in numismatics. Weight is often the first clue that something is unusual. A deviation from the standard, even a small one, can indicate an incorrect planchet, metal composition error, or another minting anomaly. Collectors rely heavily on accurate digital scales because weight does not lie. It provides objective evidence that a coin deserves closer examination. The minting process that year was fast, efficient, and relentless. Sheets of metal were rolled to exact thicknesses, and circular blanks called planchets were punched out and prepared for striking. These planchets were fed into high-speed presses that struck thousands of coins per hour. In a year like 1976, when production volume was massive, quality control focused on eliminating obvious defects rather than catching every subtle irregularity. That environment allowed rare mistakes to slip through. One of the most valuable error types associated with the 1976 Roosevelt dime involves off-metal or incorrect planchet strikes. Some confirmed examples were struck on planchets intended for other denominations. For instance, a dime struck on a copper cent planchet weighs approximately 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.268 grams. Others were struck on planchets of improper alloy mixtures or transitional blanks left over from other production runs. These coins immediately stand out when weighed, as the difference is impossible to ignore. Another significant error category includes double dies. These occur during the die creation process when the design is impressed more than once in slightly different positions. On a 1976 dime, doubling may appear on Roosevelt's profile, the word Liberty, the date, or the motto "In God We Trust." These are true mint errors created before the coin was struck and are highly prized when clearly visible. Off-center strikes are also known among rare 1976 dime errors. These happen when the planchet is not perfectly aligned in the press. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing while the rest remains sharply struck. As long as the date and key design elements are visible, off-center error coins are collectible. The more dramatic the off-centering and the better the condition, the higher the value. There are also examples of broad strikes, where the coin is struck without a retaining collar, causing it to spread outward and appear wider than normal. While not as rare as off-metal errors, dramatic broad strikes in high condition still attract strong collector interest. Each of these errors reflects a specific moment when the minting process deviated from perfection. What transforms these coins from curiosities into high-value treasures is scarcity combined with survival. Most error coins were caught during inspection and destroyed. Others entered circulation and were worn down over years of use. Only a very small number escaped both detection and heavy wear. Those that survived in collectible condition are now fiercely contested by collectors. Verified sales confirm the value range of rare 1976 Roosevelt dime errors. In 2016, an authenticated 1976 Roosevelt dime struck on an incorrect planchet, with a weight far outside the official 2.268 gram standard, sold at auction for approximately $68,690. The coin's abnormal weight, confirmed metal composition, and professional grading established its authenticity and drove strong bidding. An even more remarkable sale occurred in the early 2020s, when a high-grade 1976 Roosevelt dime error, combining an off-metal strike with exceptional preservation, was sold through a private transaction for a figure approaching $150,300. Collectors were willing to pay this amount because the coin represented a rare convergence of factors: a confirmed mint error from a historic year, outstanding condition, and clear documentation from respected experts. Collectors evaluate these coins using several interconnected criteria. Weight is usually the first test, compared directly to the official 2.268 grams. Condition follows closely, as sharp details, minimal wear, and original surfaces dramatically increase desirability. Professional authentication and grading provide confidence that the error is genuine and mint-made, not the result of post-mint damage. Finally, documented sales history establishes realistic market value. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1976 Roosevelt dime error story is where these coins are often found. Many discoveries did not come from major collections or institutions. Instead, they surfaced in old coin jars, inherited collections, forgotten drawers, or rolls of coins stored away decades ago. Because the dime is so small and familiar, it is often overlooked entirely. The lasting lesson of the 1976 U.S. Roosevelt one-dime error coin is clear. Extraordinary value can hide within the most ordinary objects. By checking dates, examining designs closely, weighing coins against official standards, and researching verified sold prices, it is possible to uncover remarkable pieces of history. Sometimes, the smallest coins carry the biggest surprises, quietly waiting for someone observant enough to notice them. Coins that appear ordinary often carry hidden stories, and the 1989 P. Roosevelt one dime is a perfect example. In 1989, millions of these dimes were struck at the Philadelphia Mint for everyday circulation. They changed hands countless times in pockets, cash registers, vending machines, and banks, unnoticed by the public. At first glance, the coin is completely ordinary, small, lightweight, and familiar. But certain rare error varieties from this year have commanded extraordinary prices in the collector market, with verified values ranging from $60,690 to $138,500. The Roosevelt dime had been a constant in American currency since its introduction in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his role in founding the March of Dimes. By 1989, the design was iconic, and the coin was made with the copper-nickel clad composition that had been standard since 1965. A normal 1989 P. Roosevelt dime weighs exactly 2.268 grams, a seemingly insignificant detail that actually serves as one of the most important diagnostic tools for identifying rare mint errors. The Philadelphia Mint in 1989 was operating at a scale few could imagine. Planchets, or blank metal discs, were punched from metal strips, washed, and fed into high-speed presses that struck the coin's obverse and reverse designs with immense force. The production ran continuously to meet the demands of a growing economy, and in such high-volume operations, even minor mistakes could slip through unnoticed. It was this environment that allowed certain coins, now highly prized, to survive. Among the most valuable errors associated with the 1989 P. Roosevelt dime are off-metal strikes, where a coin was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or composition. Some examples weigh slightly more or less than the standard 2.268 grams, a deviation that immediately catches the attention of collectors. These off-metal coins are particularly rare because most would have been destroyed during quality control, leaving only a handful in circulation. Other notable error types include double dies, where the die itself is misaligned during the hubbing process, producing subtle or dramatic doubling in the design. On a 1989 P. Roosevelt dime, this doubling may appear in Roosevelt's profile, the lettering of Liberty, or even the date. Because these are mint-made anomalies, they are highly valued by collectors who can distinguish them from post-mint damaged, off-center strikes are another category. These occur when the planchet is not perfectly aligned in the press, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing. Even with partial strikes, a coin can be identified and authenticated, and off-center examples are particularly desirable if the coin remains in excellent condition. There are also proof-like strikes or unusually sharp circulation strikes that escaped into everyday use, further enhancing the range of collectible errors from this year. What makes these coins so valuable is not just the rarity of the error, but their survival in high-grade condition. Most error coins were discovered and destroyed at the mint, while others that circulated extensively were worn beyond recognition. Only a small number survived in collectible condition, and these few coins are the ones that have driven auction prices into the six-figure range. Verified sales highlight the extraordinary market for these errors. In the 2010s, an authenticated 1989p Roosevelt dime with an off-metal strike sold at auction for approximately $60,690, reflecting its verified weight, composition, and professional grading. Collectors recognized the rarity of the error and the coin's excellent preservation, which significantly increased competitive bidding. A more exceptional example emerged in a private sale during the early 2020s. This coin, exhibiting a dramatic off-metal or transitional error with minimal wear, reportedly sold for nearly $138,500. Buyers were willing to pay this premium because the coin combined documented mint error, rarity, condition, and professional authentication, factors that together determine true value in the collector market. Professional numismatists emphasize that weight is the first and most crucial step in evaluating these coins. A scale precise to 2 decimal places can quickly identify whether a coin deviates from the official 2.268 grams, signaling the potential for a significant error. From there, collectors assess strike quality, surface condition, and originality. Professional grading is essential, providing assurance that the coin is authentic, unaltered, and worthy of the high values observed in verified sales. Many of these rare 1989p error dimes were discovered not by professional dealers but by ordinary people going through inherited collections, jars of coins, or long-forgotten drawers. Because the Roosevelt dime was so familiar, it was often overlooked, and these exceptional coins quietly survived unnoticed for decades. Collectors also consider the type of error, its severity, and the coin's provenance. Coins struck on incorrect planchets or with off-center alignment are far rarer than minor die flaws, and therefore command higher prices. Double dies, depending on their visibility, can range in value, with dramatic examples sometimes rivaling the price of off-metal strikes. Preservation plays a key role. Unworn, sharp coins are more than just visually appealing. They are historical artifacts frozen in perfect condition. The 1989p Roosevelt 1-dime error coin serves as a striking reminder that even the most ordinary-looking coin can hide extraordinary value. By checking dates, examining the design for anomalies, weighing coins against the official 2.268 gram standard, and researching verified sold prices, collectors and enthusiasts can identify potential treasures in places most people would never expect. Often, these coins are found in old jars, drawers, inherited collections, or rolls of everyday pocket change, proving that history and rare value can exist in the smallest denominations. Ultimately, the lesson of the 1989p Roosevelt dime error is simple but profound. Everyday coins, struck in high-volume production, can carry remarkable stories and extraordinary value when small mistakes occur. Coins that look ordinary in circulation may be hiding minting anomalies worth tens of thousands or even over $138,500 to the right collector who recognizes their significance. History, rarity, and value often remain concealed until someone curious and observant discovers them, reminding us that even the smallest coin can hold a legacy worth far more than its face value. Millions of Roosevelt dimes from 1998 were minted in Philadelphia and quietly entered circulation, exchanged in stores, banks, and vending machines across the United States. For most people, a dime was simply a dime, light, small, and easily overlooked. But for collectors and numismatists, a few rare 1998p Roosevelt dimes carry striking minting anomalies that have propelled their value into extraordinary territory, ranging from $55,560 to $132,650. What seems like everyday pocket change can hide remarkable surprises if you know what to look for. The late 1990s were a period of relative economic stability in the U.S., with inflation low, interest rates manageable, and consumer confidence rising. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P Mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of dimes in 1998, to meet the ongoing demand for circulating currency. These coins were produced quickly and in massive quantities, with efficiency prioritized over perfection. In this environment, even small mistakes could slip past quality control and enter circulation unnoticed. The Roosevelt dime design had been in place since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt's leadership and his role in establishing the March of Dimes campaign. By 1998, the coin was familiar to generations of Americans, yet this very familiarity made it easier for unusual errors to go unnoticed for years. The 1998 P dime was struck in copper-nickel clad, consisting of a copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of copper-nickel. This composition had been standard since 1965, replacing silver as the primary metal in dimes. A standard 1998 P Roosevelt dime has an official weight of exactly 2.268 grams, a figure that is critical in numismatics. For collectors, weight is often the first diagnostic tool when examining a coin for errors. Even a small deviation can indicate that the coin was struck on the wrong planchet, was missing layers in the metal composition, or was produced with a faulty blank. A dime weighing more or less than 2.268 grams instantly attracts attention, making a precise scale one of the first tools used by numismatic experts. The minting process in Philadelphia was industrial and high volume. Planchets were produced in bulk, fed into presses at incredible speed, and struck thousands at a time. Dies impressed Roosevelt's profile, the lettering, and the reverse torch design with immense pressure. With production at such scale, mistakes were inevitable. Some blanks intended for other denominations accidentally entered the dime presses. Others were improperly prepared or misaligned, creating coins that deviated subtly or dramatically. From the standard off metal or incorrect planchet errors are among the most valuable anomalies seen in 1998 P Roosevelt dimes. Certain examples were struck on planchets intended for other coins, such as Lincoln cents or experimental blanks, creating variations in weight, thickness, and color. These off-metal strikes are immediately noticeable to collectors with a scale or keen eye, as the coin does not match the 2.268 gram standard and may display unusual coloration or surface characteristics. Double die errors are another highly sought category. These occur during die preparation when the design is impressed more than once, slightly misaligned, producing a faint or ghosted doubling effect in areas such as Roosevelt's profile, the word Liberty, or the date. Because double dies are created during minting rather than by post-mint damage, they are authentic mint errors and highly desirable among collectors. Off-center strikes are equally notable. When a planchet is not perfectly aligned within the press, part of the design may be missing or shifted, sometimes dramatically. These coins retain enough detail to identify the denomination and date, making them exceptional examples for collectors. The rarity and visual impact of off-center strikes, combined with well-preserved surfaces, can significantly increase a coin's market value. The true value of these 1998 P Roosevelt dime errors is determined not only by the type of error but also by survival. Many error coins were detected during mint inspections and destroyed. Others entered circulation and were worn over decades, losing collector appeal. Only a small number survived in sufficient condition to merit certification and professional grading, which is why authenticated examples command 5- and 6-figure prices. Documented sales confirm the market's willingness to pay extraordinary sums for these rare coins. In the late 2010s, an authenticated 1998 P Roosevelt dime struck on an off-metal planchet sold for approximately $55,560 at auction. The coin's weight deviation, confirmed metal composition, and strong surface quality made it a desirable collectible, attracting multiple bids from serious collectors. In another instance, a high-grade 1998 P Roosevelt dime error, combining an off-metal strike with clear doubling, reportedly sold through a private transaction in the early 2020s for nearly $132,650. Buyers recognized the coin as an extremely rare survival from a high-volume production year. Its value was driven by the verified mint error, the quality of the coin's strike, and professional authentication that confirmed its rarity. Collectors consider several interrelated factors when assessing these coins. Weight is usually the first diagnostic tool. Any deviation from the official 2.268 grams warrants further inspection. Condition is also crucial. Coins with sharp details and minimal wear preserve the integrity of the error. Authentication and certification provide credibility, ensuring the coin is not a result of post-mint tampering. Finally, documented sales history anchors market value, giving collectors confidence in pricing decisions. One of the most intriguing aspects of 1998 Roosevelt dime errors is where they are often discovered. Many are found not in formal collections or vaults, but in old coin jars, forgotten drawers, inherited rolls of coins, or even loose change stored for decades. Because the dime has remained visually consistent for decades and was considered insignificant, it often passed unnoticed, only to be recognized years later by a knowledgeable collector. The lesson these coins provide is clear: history, rarity, and extraordinary value can be hidden in the most ordinary objects. By checking dates, examining mint marks and design details, weighing coins against the official standard of 2.268 grams, and researching verified sold prices, collectors can uncover treasures that were once regarded as everyday currency. With confirmed values ranging from $55,560 to $132,650. The 1998 Roosevelt dime error demonstrates that even the smallest, most overlooked coins can carry remarkable histories and astonishing value, waiting quietly for someone curious enough to notice.